I think today you just got to push forward, and you're not always going to be right, and you might fall down, but keep getting up. And the old style, somebody told me, man, Skip, if you're going through hell, keep walking.
A switch point moment is a moment in time that fundamentally changes your life because of a connection you made with another human being. My name is Sean P. Neal, and this is the Switch Point Project. And hey, everybody, welcome. Thanks so much for being here this week. Man, I have got to tell you, it is really cool to be able to bring certain people who I've known for a while onto this program and let them tell you about what inspires them. And today, I'm bringing to you a good friend and a recurring guest here, Skip Ackerman. Skip is a retired firefighter, and he has also been the founder and on the founding team of 3 nonprofits. And these are nonprofits that directly affect the community. They affect the outcome of lives within the community he lives and within his community of first responders. So I'm really excited to get into his brain a little bit today and find out what it takes when you have got that driving piece inside you and you want to help people. What does it take to make the next step, to make the move, and to go forward despite all of the doubt that you may have or the things you don't know how to do? So take a second, let's hear a quick word from our sponsor, and then I'll be right back with my guest, Skip Ackerman. And welcome, Skip Ackerman. Thanks for joining me today on the Switch Point Project. How are you?
I'm doing good, Sean. Thank you for allowing me to be on here and spend some time with you.
Absolutely. I would not have it any other way. It's no secret you and I know each other. We've known each other for quite a while. And I've been with you on several adventures throughout the years. We've put concerts together. We've done all kinds of crazy stuff. You've always been the person I knew when you called. There was going to be something not only fun to get involved with, but something meaningful, that you were on some type of path and you were going to accomplish something that would matter in the lives of other people. And that's always been cool. So, with that being said, if you would just tell everybody a little bit about, your background. You are a retired firefighter, and I'll leave it at that and let you just kind of fill in the blanks so they can get to know a little bit about you there.
Sure. Thank you, Sean. Well, like Sean said, I am a retired Anderson firefighter. I was at the Anderson Fire Department for 33 years. I'm happily married to my beautiful wife, Diana, of 29 years. And also, I am, I'm grateful to be in recovery. I've been sober since February 7th, 2000, involved in a 12-step program. And also I'm involved in a lot of different events around here. I was on the board for Indiana for American Foundation of Suicide Prevention until about 2 years ago. And then I had to get some balance in my life and back off. And now I'm just a volunteer there, which just a volunteer don't mean that's one of the important things that they have is volunteers. I have 5 children, hers, mine, and ours, and I have 12 grandchildren. And I'd like to say today I'm happy, and been involved in a number of events and a few nonprofits and some mission trips around the world.
Yeah, one of the things that has really fascinated me in getting to know you over the years is the fact that you are just led straight to being of service to others. And it's, I think for some people, there's a conscious decision to do that. For you, it's a calling. How many nonprofits have you created throughout the years and been influencing?
Sure. We're on our 3rd one now. The first one was back when I met you, Sean, in 2009. And that was the Fire Rescue House Project. And that project, it housed the fire survivors, people that's in Madison County that was burned out of their house. Red Cross would come in and help them out, and then we would take the baton and we'd keep them up for 2 weeks and do their thinking for them. We kind of said we got a place to call home for a few weeks. Of course, we let them run over that. That was one of them. The next one was a worldwide peer support. I'm the president of that currently, and that we help firefighters, EMS workers all over the world, United States and England, and not just firefighters. We help others too. But we're kind of like on a highway, and we kind of stay in our lane, but we're also glad to switch another lane to help somebody. If we have to pull over somebody, like the old analogy, if somebody has a flat tire, we'll pull over and help them out too. So. Just yesterday, we decided to make Turning Point Madison County a nonprofit, and we're currently doing that now. And just to let everybody know, I barely made it through high school. I'm not the brightest star in the sky, but thank God today I am a star. And what I found out for me, Sean, I just put a lot of people smarter than me around me, and it makes me look smart.
That's exactly my secret as well. But don't tell everybody that.
Okay, sorry.
But I think it's important to pause there for a minute, because your work as a firefighter throughout those years, there are people who see horrific things in their lifetime, and you've created a pattern within yourself that when you see something that deeply affects you, you seem to feel compelled to move towards it and ask, how can I help? And that's, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's really how the first nonprofit, the Fire Rescue House, started. Is that fair to say?
That's right, Sean. I tell you, not just me in recovery, I had my own battles with addiction because of PTSD and different other things in my life. And then that's why I got involved in the mental health. And the unfortunate event that helped inspire the Fire Rescue House was Jessica and Haley Balzog fire, two young little girls that died in a fire, 1 and 2 years old. That helped us lay what's the answer. We have somebody that's displaced by fire, the family, and they need counseling because they lost their children, and just a whole lot of things came out of that. Well, my job and other people that was with me was put that puzzle together. How can we help get them a place, the essentials, a house, food, and then the counseling afterwards? And that's how that developed. After we've seen that, then these other fires that came in the future, that other people's going to need some help. That's how we designed the Fire Rescue House program. And we created the website. It was one of the first things. firerescuehouse.org is that website. And then we just kind of created things and worked with people like yourself that you helped me with. I think you were the one that helped with the website and created it. I just now came to that conclusion talking to you. But like yourself, I didn't know how to do stuff, but you connect with people who knows how to do that specific thing you need.
Yeah, and I want to dive into that for a minute, because we talk about resources and resourcefulness, and there you see people all the time who have everything that money could buy. They have access to all of the great resources, and yet they don't tap into it, and therefore they're not moving forward. People like you and I, and I think the average person, we look around and we say, okay, I don't necessarily know how to do this, but who do I know that does? Do you ever have, I don't know if I want to use the word fear, or maybe just a pause to step up to somebody and say, hey, I've got this idea and I need your help? Or how do you approach that?
Well, with me, when we started, there's been other events that I've done before the Fire Rescue House, and sometimes I got too big of ego, and I got a lot of ideas. But used to, I'd have ideas, I'd lay them on the table and walk away and say, look at me, and I'd pat myself on the back and leave it on somebody else's plate, to be honest with you, because I didn't know how to do it. But I'd say, well, somebody needs to do this, and just a general conversation, walk away. Well, in my faith, God has a way to convict you. I think where it says in a couple books in the James, that faith without works is dead. So I can have all the faith in the world, but I need to put the works that involve that. So having an idea is a dream, a dream, or whatever you want to call it. But having the works that goes behind that is what I needed. And I do a lot of praying, and I got a lot of people, the influential people in my life that stays real with me and what I do. So I start with that, and then you just put the puzzle together, and you try to connect those dots wherever they are. But the fear, I had a lot of low self-esteem and a lot of different other things, but through working a 12-step program and getting counseling, that gave me the self-esteem back. And then even without having any faith before that, I was doing things. So it's like sometimes I get bullheaded. You're not going to tell me I can't do anything. I'm going to figure it out. And that's my ego, though, leading. But after a while, you rough off the round edges with what I was doing, and I started hanging around people that were more business minded than I was. And what I found out, I just need somebody with willingness. If you got anybody that has willingness, because you can have all these cool looking things, but if you don't know how to work it or put it together or share that story, what's the story that goes behind your mission? That's the biggest thing. That's the motivator. That's the fuel you put in the gas tank of that mission. Because you can have that beautiful car, but if you don't know how to drive it, it's just going to sit there. And just like you were telling me, and not that the people that has this stuff, they're this part of the puzzle. We need to put the whole puzzle together and see that whole picture, not just part of it.
Yeah, one of the things I've noticed throughout the years, and I've watched people, I'm going to be, very complimentary here, but I've watched people just gather around you to support what you're doing. And I think that a lot of what you're saying speaks to that. It's not that you come at it from ego. You come at it from a place that's authentic, that's genuine, that tells a story, and then people resonate with that story.
That's it, Sean. It's a story. If you can storyline, I remember the Madison County Chamber. I can't remember. They were at the flagship. Can't remember the guy's name. And when we first started the fire rescue house, had a little tiny office they're going to give us there, just a little tiny thing. And I went down and I was telling him what we're going to do at the fire rescue house. And then I told him the story why, and I got emotional. And he told me, he said, Skip, lead with the story. He goes, I knew what you were doing, and that was okay, but when you hit me with the story, that grabbed my heart. And I remember that. I don't remember his name, but I remember that man tell me that. We're downstairs off to the left in his office, and he told me that. So that's what I've been doing, is leading with the story, and that helps me out. And that goes with not just a fire rescue house, that goes with Worldwide Peer Support, Turning Point. You lead with the story. You capture somebody's heart. Whether you're trying to get a donation from them or you're trying to get some time and get a volunteer, that's the biggest thing right there.
Yeah, it's huge. And I see you, and I look at the things that you've been involved in, from the Fire Rescue House to Worldwide Peer Support, Turning Point. I mean, these are organizations that you've helped create. You have inspired the creation of all of these, but they're all very personal to you as a human being and the things that you've experienced in your life. Is it almost therapeutic to be able to get on the other side of it then and help others?
Oh, absolutely. That's what keeps me sober and sane today. I first of all, I got a beautiful wife that backs me and my family that's backed me, because whenever I do, I get my family involved. And they said, Dad, my kids would say, Dad, quit volunteering for stuff. But the healing factor for me is going out there, reaching out to somebody who don't have it like I do, or they might be the same as I am, but that catapults me to be where I'm at today, to keep me sane, to keep me sober, to help me. If you put like a timeline of the stuff that I do and the things that happen, it's always been after an event. Like my friends, 2 firefighters that are my friends, they died by suicide. That's when I jumped into CISM and trying to help somebody, trying to get involved in suicide prevention. And then the 2 young girls that died, well, that started the Fire Rescue House. And then you lead into Worldwide Peer Support. Well, that was a bunch of broken firefighters that got together that needed some help, the peer support, and that's how we created that. To Turning Point Madison County, we had 2 people two co-founders there that had some of their struggles and also struggled with resources, and they put that together, which came to me because they know I had resources. And it's just amazing how those kind of line up from whatever I was going through to what I did.
Yeah, it's amazing when you look at how those things have come together throughout the years. What I'd love to dive into for a minute is that inner strength that you are pulling from, because I know along the way that as we've been involved in projects, it's from the outside, it can appear like everything is just grand. Skip is coming together with this concert that he's going to put together and raise money for suicide awareness and everybody. But you and I said on the insides of this, thing that you're building, and, we're beating our head against the wall and we're going, oh my gosh, how are we going to make this happen? So I would love to just kind of dive into that for a minute and talk about, maybe it's faith, maybe it's a combination of things, but what are you pulling from when things are not looking promising for the vision you're trying to put together? Where do you go with that? How do you reconcile that?
Well, for me today, Sean, I pray to God. I ask God for strength, and I ask him for the courage to say the right words, give me the wisdom for the right words. It hadn't always been like that because I was an atheist. I didn't believe in God, didn't believe in Christ. I didn't believe in Buddha. I don't care what faith in this world you had. I didn't believe into it because all the destruction I seen on the fire department, I didn't see how there could be a God or higher power. That I just couldn't see that. So when I first sobered up, I had to walk through that growing experience, which I used a 12-step program, my sponsors, and a higher power, a halfway house to be my powder grade myself. And then I just blossomed into, believing there's something there. I don't know exactly what it is, the universe or whatever. And then it's like you metamorphosize a little bit more in spirituality, where I started narrowing it down what made sense to me. And I know what makes sense to me. I rely on God, Jesus Christ. I don't push that on nobody. I share my experience and strength and hope with people and wherever they're at. And I don't judge them, or I don't get in a holy war and talk or debate or anything. I'm not going to do that. Just like what 12-step program to go to. I cheerlead people wherever they're at in their faith, wherever they're at in their world. I don't care what color their skin is or who they go to bed with at night or what politics they are. I'm not going to argue that point. What I am going to do is help people succeed. And I haven't been perfect at that. I got an ego, and I bumped head with some people because I thought my ideas was better than somebody else's. But what I draw from the strength of the God that I believe in, from my beautiful wife that supports me, from people like you, Sean, that want to see me succeed, and other people like-minded like me. And when I say like-minded, that don't mean they're like believe in the same God or the same politics, but we want to see small business thrive. We want to see missions carried out to help other people, and we want collaborations of different business coming together for one common purpose, and that is to share, whether it's a product you're selling or whether it's serenity you're selling. Of course, in whatever I do, we don't charge anything. The only thing we charge is give me some of your time. Just listen to what I got to say. And if your life is not working the way you want it, let me introduce you to some people that's been there and done it, can help you out.
Wow. Yeah. The power of bringing people together. You said you hit on something that struck a chord with me, and that is that when we are looking at the world, and I'm going back to a time in your life, that you were really struggling with this. When we're looking at the world and, the devastation, the things that are happening, right now in Ukraine, as an example, I think a lot of people feel, it's how can I matter in this? How can I do something that's going to make a difference? What can you say to that? And how would you recommend that people reach out?
Well, I can go from an experience I had when I went to Haiti after the earthquake. I remember seeing the earthquake on TV. It just happened in the morning, and I'm getting ready for work, and I'm looking at my wife, and I'm going, oh my gosh! And God is, I'm getting that pull that I got to do something. And I hate flying. Just by the way, just to let you know, I'm afraid of flying. I don't like to get out of my comfort zone, and I don't like crowds. But it really don't matter what I like. When God has me doing something, I'm going to do what He wants and not me. I looked at my wife and I said, I think I'm supposed to do something here. So the next day I walked over to my neighbor, Greg Ellis. He's paralyzed from the neck down, the most strongest man I know in my life. And I said, Greg, I'm getting this pull like I need to go to Haiti, but maybe that's just my ego. Maybe I just need to send money. And Greg looked at me. He said, Skip, a little child can't feel the warmth of skin by just sending money. And he hit me right between the nose. It wasn't all about the money. Well, I went over there, and we were in Haiti, and there's a little baby that had a broken neck, and they called me over there because they thought I was a pastor. They wanted me to pray for the little baby, and I was still searching I'm still searching my path to find a God, and I picked this little baby up, and I prayed for this little baby, and we left a lot of money. Well, it was a lot of money to the mom to get the baby help, and we left, and I didn't think nothing about it. It didn't matter. Came back, started talking on the radio, and my pastor called at the time. He says, "You realize what you just did?" I go, "No. A loving mom, you had a guy that was paralyzed from the neck down that had a loving mom to go over there and take care of a little child with a loving mom that was paralyzed too." I go, "Well, I didn't think about it." So, and fast forward to today, I told my wife the other day with the Ukraine and the war, the sadness over there, it's just to seeing it, hear about what's going on, and I don't say a lot about what my opinion is. I know I do not like hatred in this world. I do not like people that bullies, and I don't like destruction. Well, I told Diana, I said, "Man, I'm getting that same feeling like I did with Haiti. I don't know what exactly to do." Well, then I seen what the border country was Poland, so I researched that, what the flights were already, and I asked my wife, I said, "Do you think we could have somebody come live here with us if that time came?" And she says, "I would think about it." I said, "Okay." So that's what I'm doing now. I'm searching my heart. What do I need to do? And we already made a donation to UNICEF. They help the kids over there, and that's what we're trying to do there. I don't back any particular organization. That was this one that came up that hit me in the heart. So they made a donation. And I don't say that to brag, but I do say that donations are good, money's good, but I got to be willing to open my doors of my own home, and I got to be willing to get on that plane and fly over there and help the Red Cross, to help other organizations, because it's going to be a long process. It's something I don't have to do tomorrow, but I got to be willing to do that, and that's what I'm willing to do. Not to pat myself on the back, but I have guidance from the God that I believe in. That's what I need to do. Not just help my neighbors out that's around me or my country. There's no borders from what I believe in, whether you're from America or you're from Anderson or Madison County. I need to be willing to go out there and help everybody. That's what I got to do.
Wow.
I don't know if that answers your question, Sean, but
yeah,
that's where I'm at today. I'm going to do something for them, and that's how all the things that I've done in my life, where there's a fire rescue house, where the worldwide peer support, where it was the Genesis project that we did, whether it was these little concerts that I've done and been involved in, I've had this feeling. I didn't know exactly what it was. You just start walking that direction, and you just keep walking, and it'll work itself out. And I just make phone calls, and I see, here's what I'm going to do. Do you want to jump on board? And then people will tell me, and then I really look at it, because I look at the people that may criticize me. I look to see where they're going to be right, because in criticism, there might be some truth in that. Now, it's not always presented in a loving way, but you kind of get that stuff out of the way and disregard who the person is and see where they might be right, and see how I could do better in anything that I do.
And you talk about the power of putting the ego aside. I mean, that's what you're talking about there. It requires a lot of self-awareness to listen to somebody.
Yeah, and that my wife helps me out a lot. And then doing soul searching and inventory, I know that I'm not always right, and I'm not the best of everything, but I am good at some stuff. One thing I got to do is leave my ego and just I got to let other people take the torch. Now, I might carry it for a while, and just like the fire rescue house, at the end of the day, I had to give it up, and it was hard to give it up. I had some claw marks in that, but I was stunning the mission, so I had to let it go. And not that I quit, I had to let it go. Yeah. And just like other thing, the worldwide peer support, there's eventually I want to create, with help, a vehicle where somebody can just slide in and sit down and drive that vehicle. I want to create that and make it easy for them, just like our parents did for us with life. So I'm not saying all my parents made it easier for me to maneuver to being an adult. They taught me how to do that by teaching me and not always telling me yes. They told me no. I think today you just got to push forward, and you're not always going to be right, and you might fall down, but keep getting up. And the old style, somebody told me, man, Skip, if you're going through hell, keep walking. And that's what I've learned. Keep walking. Don't stop, and just go on. In my town, we have not just guys, there's ladies out there too that live out in the woods in tents, made up tents, tarps, skids, or they got regular tents. They live out in the woods. I was asked a long time ago by my pastor. They didn't know about them, and I seen them, I knew about them, but I walked in the woods, and of course I yelled and went down the woods, and they had a makeshift wood burning stove out of a 55-gallon drum, and they were cooking sausages on the top of this turned over, and I'm looking and go, man. And I'm talking to this guy laying in the bed, and he has a shotgun laying over on his thing. He goes, it's not loading, don't even work, but it scares people off. So I'm standing down here, and I don't know what's going on. Well, he offered me a piece of this sausage. Oh, my God, I'm going to get sick. I tell you what, I didn't want to offend him. So I took the piece of a patty sausage, and I ate it, and it was the best sausage I've ever had in my life. But anyway, it's people in the woods. A lot of them are alcoholics or addicts, and some of them are mentally, they're just in that gray area where you can't do nothing for them. They got their freedom, and that's the problem. They got their freedom, but they don't have their freedom through the mental illness. So I go out there, try to help them and not enable them. But of course, I enabled them at first because I had to be taught. Giving them food, giving them money, first of all, a long time, which was a mistake. They go buy drugs and other things. So I needed to use the resources around me that's already doing what they're doing with the Christian Center or, the housing that's around here and get them in there. So that's the people in the woods, just people that are alcoholics or addicts. There's places to go here in town. They don't like rules, and that's where we're at. Or their mental health is so far gone they can't make good decisions. So we try to meet people where they're at and try not to judge them and just keep them alive through the winter and let them know we're here if they want to make changes in their life.
Wow. Yeah, it's just that genuine desire to help people. And that's just one thing I have always appreciated about you. I would love to just, as we start to wrap up here, to kind of look at the organizations that you're currently involved with. So Turning Point Madison County, which is in Madison County, Indiana, and then Worldwide Peer Support, which is England, United States, and growing.
Sure.
Can you just kind of give everybody a little idea of what each of those focus on, and then how they can reach out and find out more, how to help or donate or be a part of those organizations?
Sure. Let me start with in my neighborhood, Turning Point, Madison County. I'm fortunate to be the chief of operations over some recovery coaches, but I like to treat it like a family. It works better that way. And we're working. What we do, we have recovery coaches, and we kind of meet people where they're at. And we got the people that are involved with us live right here in Madison County. When you call that number 765-227-2585. You will talk to a recovery coach here in Madison County that can help you. That's what we do there. We help people where they're at, whether in the woods or whether it's a business where they have insurance or no insurance. It's a free service. It's a grant opportunity that we got. Our administrators is through the Christian Center. We just kind of decided we want to be a nonprofit. So we're going to go into that and be a nonprofit. And that's a little bit about Turning Point Madison County. The Worldwide Peer Support. We help firefighters, EMS workers all over the United States and England. Pete Lewin, Newfoundlands, is our contact in England. He is a very driving force over there. He does emotional support swim dogs. Pete's very good at what he does, and he's got a team, though. Me and Pete talk about this all the time. We talk about it every day. We couldn't do anything. We couldn't do anything without a good team that's backing us, that helps us out. So he has Tracy, Sally, Holly, Paul. And I'm missing out. His wife, Jen, is a big driving force, along with other paramedics and EMTs over there that help Pete Lewin do the emotional swim dogs. You can catch Pete on Facebook, Pete Lewin Newfoundlands, and he just won, and I can't get this right. It's called Crutch. I think it's Crutch, the big dog show, the hero dog. He just won that all over England. He is doing broadcasts everywhere. He's going to be on Good Morning Britain, I think, tomorrow.
Wow.
And he's been on everything else. So that's the big thing over there. And then we got firefighters all over the United States. We got Marissa, who's our vice president, Tammy, who's our secretary, Chuck's our treasurer, and then we got all the rest of the board members. If you go on worldwidepeersupport.org, go in the contacts, you can see all of our board members there and a few of our trustees. But we got a lot more than that, what you see. So we got people all over the United States helping us with the Worldwide Peer Support. We do 3 Zoom meetings a week. We help people that don't have insurance or the right kind of insurance. We work with treatment centers all over the United States to get them help. And we don't ask, if they don't have the money or right insurance, then that's when I go to talking. I call up a treatment center that specializes in first responders. I said, here's where we're at. You help us with this person, we'll refer, try to help refer more people to you. And I'm real honest with all of them. I don't play favorites. You can't play favorites. Wherever somebody will go, that's where we send them.
Absolutely.
So that's a little bit about that. And Turning Point Madison County is kind of a smaller version of that in our county that we just took I took the model with that with the help of you, Sean, because you help on both of them, and we just kind of condensed that one.
Yeah, and so for anybody listening, the Worldwide Peer Support, if you're not in the Madison County area, the Worldwide Peer Support, these can be really, really tough topics for people, who are struggling with suicidal thoughts or addiction. These can be very tough topics for someone to step out and say, I need help, or I need someone I love needs help. So I encourage you to just visit those websites and look at how this has been set up. It is set up in a way that makes it inviting and easy for someone to connect without having to feel too much pressure.
Yeah, and our website, whenever I go to the web, they're kind of long, but I want the name, the whole name, not abbreviated name, with the websites when I ever came and created them, like the firerescuehouse.org. That's that spelled out. And worldwidepeersupport.org. It's all spelled out, and turningpointmadisoncounty.org. They might be long, but you'll know the name, and there's no abbreviation. So that's how we went with all the websites, kind of did it like that with the guidance of a good friend. He might be close to me. Might be Sean Neal. Maybe that's who it was.
I never realized you did that with all 3 of that. It never dawned on me until you just said that.
Sure, they're long, and you go into when you do marketing or branding, and everybody has a different way. And I listen to people what they say, because especially if they're business minded, they do this. You listen to it, but at the end of the day, what is in my heart? What do I need to do? What do I have to live with every day, and not wish I should have done this? I need to do it the first time, and then not wish I would have done it a different way. And it's kind of hard. You take that leap of faith and you do it, and it's worked out. Not saying we could have done better, but I always can do better. But this is what we got right now.
Yeah. Well, I love it, and I love the fact that, like I said, anytime I get a phone call or text message from you, I know that we're on an adventure, and we're going to do some things that are going to make a difference. As I approach my 50s, and I'm having different outlooks on life, and it's that no regrets. It's when it's my time to leave this earth, I don't want to look and say, gee, I wish I would have taken the opportunity to help or do this or do that when it was given to me. And so being there with you along this journey, and knowing that, I just want to say I admire you, and I admire the work that you do, and I'm always happy to be a part of the things that you're involved in, Skip. Thank you so much.
Well, Sean, I appreciate you. And anybody that's listening to this, I don't care if you're from another country or what you're doing, you can make a difference. It might just be with your neighbor or your own family. You can make a difference. Don't let fear direct your journey. Just push forward with courage. If you believe in something, pray for courage. If you need some help, you're more than happy to contact me.
There it is. Skip Ackerman, turningpointmadisoncounty.org and worldwidepeersupport.org. Thank you so much for joining us. I have a feeling we'll talk again in the future, because there's just so many things that we could talk about that people will just find invaluable. Thanks for joining me today.
Thanks, Sean, for the opportunity. God bless you.
The Switchpoint project is part of the Switchpoint Media Network. Switchpoint Media creates raw and revealing conversations that explore the intersection of self and social awareness, growth, and authentic human connection. For more great podcasts and videocasts, be sure to join us at switchpoint.media.